Hey, this is Jessica, and this is a video on how I became a travel nurse. In my last video, I talked about how I came home from a weekend trip and decided that I wanted to become a travel nurse. So the number one thing I would say was I had to convince my family. I came home from my weekend trip and we sat down and ate dinner, and I shared with them how excited I was about this opportunity and how much I really wanted to become a travel nurse. Of course, I was kind of hitting them out from left field, and they had no clue that I was going to come home with this. So my number one job was to convince them that it would be great for us to travel. So after talking with my family and talking with my husband, he told me to go ahead and fill out the application and we would just see what happened. So after talking with a few people that I knew traveled, a friend and former coworker and a cousin, I picked a travel company to fill out an application. So I filled out the application, and then the very next day, a recruiter called me. So once I spoke with the recruiter, she answered a whole bunch of my questions, and really she was a wealth of knowledge. They're a very good resource pretty much for any question that you have, and if they can't answer it, if they're a good recruiter, they'll find the answer for you. Facebook, networking was a really great place to find information. Facebook, there are a couple of different groups. I know that there are other groups, but the ones that I'm most familiar with are the Gypsy Nurse groups. So if you're thinking about traveling or already are traveling, the groups are great for information and great for support. So once I talked with the recruiter, I again talked with my husband and kind of gave him the information that she gave me, and we decided that I would go ahead and go for it. So I actually had a job by the end of the week. I'm one to think that if things are easy, sometimes they're just meant to be, and it seemed like all the doors were open. So I just started gathering all kinds of information. This is kind of what I do with a new idea that I have, or if I'm going in a new direction, I kind of just Google it. So I got online and I read absolutely everything that I could find about travel nursing. I ordered this book from Amazon. It's called Hypodermics by Slane. I ordered on Amazon, and I can put a link in for the book if you're interested in buying a copy. It had lots of information about all kinds of things in regards to travel nursing. I guess by some people's standards, I'm still a newbie. I've been a travel nurse for about 2 years, so I definitely wouldn't say that I'm an expert, but I'm just sharing the experiences that I've had so far. So I guess once you've filled out the application and you've got your recruiter and got your family all on the same page, the real logistics start. My first assignment was one that was within 2 hours of home, and it was kind of an assignment to test the waters. I knew that if this assignment didn't go well, that travel nursing probably wasn't for me. And it's kind of funny because if you'd asked my coworkers from my permanent job, I don't think they would have thought I would have been one to travel. I really enjoy my comfort zone, but travel nursing has really challenged me to branch out. But I had been at my permanent job within the same company for 17 years, since high school. I worked there through college, and I stayed home. But so the first assignment was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours from home. Now, it didn't really disrupt our family life because my children were homeschooled, and so I think that was an advantage for us. It wasn't really messing up their routine so much. I mean, really, the change was I would take them with me a lot of times when I worked, and my in-laws would watch them, and, they would do their schoolwork and stuff there. and I would come back home as often as I could. And so really it was an assignment to really just kind of test the waters and see how it went. You know, obviously my husband wasn't going to quit his job, and we weren't going to move across the country just at the drop of a hat. A lot of thought went into it, a lot of researching salaries, you know, researching how much travel nurses actually make. And really part of that was seeing how much I made in the assignment that I had, and, you know, getting an understanding of the tax situation and the rules that you have to follow, because that is important. Nobody wants to get in trouble with the IRS. And I'll probably touch on that a little bit with another video, although my disclaimer would definitely be that I am not a tax expert by any means. I have somebody do my taxes, but I make sure that I follow the rules that I'm supposed to follow in regards to my tax home. So I got the job. I came home as often as I could because my husband's still working. I would say that most of your contracts are 13 weeks. I decided to go ahead and extend. So I was actually in that first assignment for 6 months. It was a wonderful first assignment. There was a group of travelers actually that were there at the time, and I still kind of keep up with 3 of them on Facebook, and I kind of watch their travels, which is super cool. But the people there were just amazing. They were wonderful people. They took really good care of me, and really, in all of my travels, I've had some amazing coworkers. I've never had an issue with my coworkers. So the trial period went well. The six months went well, and that was June when I started. And so by December, my husband had plans to go ahead and quit his job. You know, up to that point, we were starting to sell our belongings. We were selling some extra furniture, and, you know, we sold our boat because we weren't going to need that anymore. And we sold like a trailer that we had a tractor on, and then when my husband finally quit his job, we sold his truck, and so we made a little bit of money. Our expenses went down in some regards. We got rid of, you know, our truck insurance and that kind of thing, but we did end up buying an RV, so that was a new expense, but things kind of evened out. And I'll kind of talk about, you know, your housing options as a travel nurse in another video. But I just want you to kind of get a gist of the things that we did, because it was really a lifestyle change. And I mean, it's been good for us. We've really had some wonderful experiences. So I feel like all in all, the process went really quickly. You know, finding a company I wanted to go with, filling out the application. I mean, I had a job by the end of the week, which was amazing. And I would just encourage you to get online, ask questions, read all that you can read. If you're like me and you're making a decision, I completely geek out. I get my hands on all the material possible. I ask people questions. You know, if you know some travel nurses, reach out to them, ask questions. You know, usually we don't mind answering them. I've gotten, you know, lots of questions myself from staff nurses. But it really is, it's really been an exciting journey. And, you know, that's kind of my story, and I will continue to add to it. If you've enjoyed my video, if you like it, please like it and subscribe, and I will see you again later. Thank you.